when I started reading my Bible as a kid, but seriously, not so much when I failed at it, but when I actually started, when I was in my later teens, I was looking for it to sound like the Desiderata. It was a thing back in the early 70s, I think. You were a child of the universe and no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. I was looking for poems and weird hippie sounding stuff. I was really disappointed. But over time, I learned to do what a lot of people do with my Bible. I liked certain verses, certain lines. They were the poems between all the other context and content that didn't quite strike me. And eventually I learned some favorite spots. You know, nobody's favorite book of the Bible is the book of Malachi. But in that book, something struck me, and it's on this theme we've been talking about this week. In Malachi, and this is a time in Judaism when people, I think, were pretty dialed into the fact that there was a bigger world out there. The Persians and the Greeks were influencing a lot. And the Egyptians, they knew a lot of cultures. And Malachi says, from the rising of the sun to its setting, my name is reverenced across the world. That's around 111, that's paraphrased. And by the time you're done with the chapter, you hear that again. My name is reverenced across the planet. And you have to think, well, wait a minute, Malachi, you know better. You know that if you were in Persia or Athens or in Egypt, you wouldn't hear people reverencing God's name per se, would you? And what the clear argument that is being made in that chapter is that God is known even when people don't know God. That people don't have to have the right spelling, all the right understanding to be in God's space. They may be in some faraway land and have beliefs very different from yours or mine. They may be next door and have beliefs very different from yours or mine. But somehow, the writer of Malachi is convinced that everywhere God's name is reverenced. Even people who don't know the name. Don't forget how big love is, how wide it is, and how generous God's love is. You are like God. You are love first.